members. I'm finally doing this. I am making my members only Q&A video, which I hope to do these more often if you guys enjoy them. And yeah, special for my members on YouTube. And I'm going to try to upload this to my Rumble supporters too, if there's an option to do that. So I made a post on my YouTube community tab, and I said, hi members, going to do a member Q&A, get your questions in. So I've got 37 comments. I want to look at them all. So let's start with this first one from Andrew. Look at that. The butter emojis too. 2 months. So he's got the butter with the hat. Butter Chad is at 3 months, I believe. I'm probably going to ask of you, watch certain animes, and if not, I'll definitely recommend you to them. Thank you, Andrew. Otterloop says, all right, I've got a few. Here we go. I haven't seen all these. All right, so 1, which fruit of the spirit gives you the most trouble putting into practice? Ooh, you think yours is joyfulness. Oh, that's a good question. Hold on, let me refresh myself on all of them so I'm not missing. Fruits of the spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness. Oh, for me, it's definitely patience. 1000% is patience. That is not a strong suit of mine at all. I wish that I were more patient of a person, but no, I'm not. So that's the thing though, is it doesn't matter if I'm naturally patient or not. Sometimes I have to be. I've been in a season of my life where patience is so important. Just not knowing exactly what direction I'm even in my life and what's going to be next. And just being patient through the process and learning to live in the moment. That's been huge for the past 4 years or so. So yeah, so it's like God is making me be patient, even if I don't want to be. So yeah, I appreciate it though. 2, when did you first get into art? I've always loved to draw ever since I was a little kid. My dad, he's really good at it. And so me and my brothers, like my parents gave us notebooks so we could draw all the time. So I've been playing around with drawing since before I really remember. Me and my older brother took it more serious, and our younger brother was like, heck it, I hate this. 3, will you put any ducks found on your Jeep in the background of your videos? I'm hoping we can all watch a collection start to grow. That would be amazing. That's a good idea. I still haven't got my first duck yet, but granted, I haven't really driven around to a lot of populated areas since I've got my Jeep. I'm just like visiting family, driving to visit family a lot, driving in more rural areas, and to the grocery store. That's it. Every once in a while, even then only a couple times. So yeah, no ducks yet, but hopefully soon. Let's see, Joseph Crabtree, how do you come up with ideas of what to draw? Normally when I draw stuff, I like to draw characters that I make up or fan art of characters I like Lara Croft or something like that. It just depends. Sometimes random inspiration will hit. The last drawing I was working on, which I haven't gotten back to it, was Lara Croft wrestling an alligator because I've wanted to see it. I try to get AI to make it and it doesn't turn out. So yeah, how's the fitness journey going now that you've started back up? Any goals? I know I've gotten obsessed with fitness the last few years. And then asking about fitness goals because I find it helpful to have something specific to work toward. For example, working towards 10 bodyweight pull-ups or adding 5 pounds of muscle. For me right now, I've gotten back. I say I've gotten back into fitness, but not in the same degree that I used to. I used to do like a lot of lifting heavy. I did that for like 2 years, gained some muscle, but I found that I don't know. I got a little more bulky than I wanted to. Not that you get like bulky as a woman, but still, I felt like I wasn't totally happy with where I was going with it. I was like, okay, I built some muscle. I'm good now. So I stopped that, took a break from the fitness stuff in general. But now I'm just focusing on walking. I know it's boring, but I think walking is one of the best exercises you could possibly do. It's very low cortisol. It's just a very healthy thing to do. So I'm working on those 10,000 steps at minimum a day. So I'll be posting on my Instagram stories, my Fitbit, keeping myself accountable with all of that. But yeah, that's just incredibly good for you to walk at least 10,000 steps a day. So that's it. Nothing crazy for me. So I want to get more toned and stuff, but I'm not trying to be Goku or anything right now. Ludacris Fool 7953 says, who are the content creators you wholeheartedly trust the most? Why? Don't know if asking multiple questions is right for this, but can you tell me more about the Jeep? Engine, transmission, 2-door, 4-door, etc. Okay, so content creators, I absolutely wholeheartedly trust. Definitely the quartering, and I know people are, oh, it's because you're hosting with him. I've been saying this. I mean, this is one reason why I host with him. But the quartering was there for me when the cancel crowd was first against me. He didn't even know who I was at the time whenever it first started happening, and that's how we became friends. But I know when I mention the quartering or even talk about hosting with him, it gets kind of mixed reactions from some people. Some people don't like him, and hey, you can like or not like whoever you want. But when it comes to an actual genuine person who is loyal and there for their friends, the quartering, 1,000%. I would not be where I'm at right now in my career if it wasn't for the quartering. I 1,000% believe that God brought this friend into my life to help me, just encourage me and help me on the path that I'm on right now, because I don't think that I would be here if it wasn't for him. I started this channel because he pushed me to do it. So if I were to think who I wholeheartedly trust the absolute most, it's definitely the quartering. Also, let me kind of, I didn't prepare for this. So, I mean, there's others in this space who I really care about and trust. But when I think just that unequivocal, because that's the thing, is there's a lot of content creators who are quick to stab you in the back, or who have your back to X degree, but will they, if enough people don't like you, or if enough people are coming after you, so on and so forth. But yeah, I would also, if I were to throw in another name into the mix, I would say, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers as well. Jeremy's are just good people, I'm finding. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers is legit awesome dude. Also very loyal to his friends. So yeah, I could definitely come up with more. And that's the thing, is there's a lot more who I'm friends with in this space who I genuinely just care for a lot. But who I am still, it doesn't mean that I necessarily am close enough with them to know that, hey, would they have my back no matter what? And that's not even necessarily a dig at them at all. It just means I don't know them as well as the ones that I know would have my back, which is fine. I wouldn't even expect everybody to have my back no matter what, because yeah, we have differences. Oh, I gotta say, Drunk 3PO as well. Jay, he's great. Really good. And that's the thing. It's nice to have Christian friends too. So Jay, Krista Nova. But yeah, I mean, pretty much, I think anybody in my circle and stuff are great people. All right, so we've got the other question about the Jeep. It is a 2-door. I wanted a 2-door. I think it looked cuter. Plus, it's just, I don't know. I just like, and it's more affordable. So it was like, yeah, win-win. But I like the look of the 2-door the best. It's an automatic transmission. Yeah, I don't know much about it. I don't know much about cars. I can't tell you everything. But it's automatic. It's whatever the base settings were for the engine. I don't know. It's a Jeep and I love it. All right, so got Michael Rafferty says, will you ever be in Ohio again? Maybe. I haven't been in Ohio in a long time, but I do remember doing a campaign there for Assassin's Creed 3. What was your favorite Spider-Man game? Oh wow, I haven't played all of them, but I remember playing a PS1 or 2 Spider-Man game. I can't remember if it was PS1 or PS2, and that was pretty good. I'm not really like super into Spider-Man games, so. Did you ever run track? No, I did not. Would you pick flying, super speed, or web slinging, including strength and agility? I would pick flying out of that list. I always said if I could have a superpower, though, it'd be invisibility. I don't know if that's still true. I don't know why even. I don't know. Just sometimes you just don't want to be seen. It's weird. Like if I'm in a big crowd or something, just go invisible for a minute. Would you rather play basketball or football? Football. I'm a big football fan. Have you ever been to a Christian concert? You know, no, but I have when I've seen Breaking Benjamin before. Red, they're a Christian rock band. They opened for Breaking Benjamin and were amazing. Have you ever owned a go-kart? No, I've ridden one, but never owned one. Have you ever had chicken ring? It's made with croissant. No, I haven't. I follow a carnivore diet. I'll have cheat days sometimes, but not super often. Um, but no, I haven't had a chicken ring. Okay, Douglas edited. I initially asked you what your favorite guilty pleasure film was, but I also want to ask your favorite horror or suspense thriller is. If I had to pick, mine is John Carpenter's The Thing. Oh man, let me think off the top of my head. Um, Goodness, I don't know. I don't freaking know. I like like Aliens. Isn't that the second Aliens movie? That was really good. Off the top of my head, that's all I. For some reason, my mind is just going blank right now. Um, I don't think that Underworld counts as horror. I mean, I love it, but I don't think it counts as horror. I generally like vampires and lichens and that sort of thing. Guilty pleasure film. I don't know. I don't really feel guilty about anything I like. I can't really think of a guilty pleasure film. I'm pretty unapologetic about stuff I like, even if it's cringe to a lot of people. Like, I'll just unabashed say I like Nickelback, for example. I don't care. Anubis Moon says, how does it feel to be blessed enough to accomplish so much? And if you could tell your younger self something, what would it be? And congratulations on your continued success. Oh, thank you. Honestly, I don't know. I don't really think that I don't consider myself like a super success or anything like that. I don't know. Like I'm really blessed to be able to do what I do, and it's nice to have the audience that I do and all that. But I definitely don't feel like I've made the big time or anything. And it's okay if I don't ever make the big time. That's not my goal. I just like doing what I do, and I just want to do what God wants me to do. That's my thing. I know it sounds really lame. People ask, well, what's your 5-year goals? What's your next plan? What do you want to do? What's the next milestone for you? Now back when I first started YouTube and all that, or when I first started doing it as a job, I was like, I had all these goals. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to be like really successful in this. But that changed as I've gotten older. Now it's just like, hey, I don't really care about fame. I don't care about having a channel with millions of followers or anything like that. I'm happy that I can pay my bills doing this. And I hope that I can keep doing stuff like this for a bit. Unless I end up getting married and I don't have to pay bills anymore, then I would just do this as a hobby. But at this time, it's just, I don't know. I'm just rolling with it, day by day. I don't know what my purpose is exactly, but I just focus day by day on just doing what I'm doing now. And I think God, looking back, I see that God has brought me here. And before I didn't know what I was doing. So it's like, okay, well, then in the future, I'll look back and I'll see that God brought me where I'll be then. So we'll see. Dear fellow Jeep owners, D. Holland says, /enthusiasts, and also gray in color. Oh, yours is gray? Oh, nice. Happy to see you remain strong in your faith, particularly in the face of aggression. I do like how you handle the haters on social media. My question will come to you as a former game dev at BioWare. Ooh, do you feel there is a new resurgence in base development coming to the West? Korea has been showing how it's done despite Shift Up's recent decision to go public. Do you feel the wake up call is coming sooner rather than later? Cheers. Derek, BWE Ghost Holland. I hope so. I know used to in the gaming industry, people were in it because of their passion for gaming. Even from the journalist side and all of that, like all sides of the gaming industry is like, you're in it. It means you were really passionate about it and you wanted to be there. Well, then they started hiring a bunch of activists, a bunch of DEI stuff, and it turned into, because gaming got so popular, it turned into people just wanting to be in the club because it's the popular thing. So I think there's going to have to be some sort of crash before we do start to see that more passionate gamers that want to be in the industry and stuff. And we are seeing to some degree a lot of failures with these AAA companies. We're seeing a lot of failures going on with, look at Concord and what's going on with that, all these woke games. So eventually, I mean, they can't keep this up forever. I know they were getting BlackRock funding and all of that, but they can't keep this up forever. And so they definitely will have to start taking different approaches. But right now, the gaming industry is so predominantly woke ideologues, woke activists, and in the West. They've hired so many people that, especially from the high up, all that. So it would be really, really difficult. It would take some time, I should say, before I think that we'll see them start to leave. What's going to happen is, well, they're either going to have to be fired, which we are seeing a huge purge in these gaming companies firing a bunch of people and layoffs and all that. So yeah, we could see a difference just in that alone. But also, it's going to take a lot of these activists to feel like, oh, this isn't the cool thing anymore. I'm out. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I hope things get better because as it stands right now, I'm not really interested in games from the West, from the AAA West. All right, so the Joseph Whitehouse says, where did you start from before the butter thing? What were the easiest and worst struggles to get where you are today? Even if still current or in the past, how do you feel about where you are at today? And what are your hopes going forward or anything you might be reaching for with your content going forward? I kind of answered part of this before in terms of the going forward part. But in terms of where I started, I used to be a bank teller. And then the Frag Dolls, the Ubisoft Frag Dolls back in like, what was this, 2000? Well, I actually applied to be a Frag Doll before, years ago. Well, many, many, many years ago. Back in like 2008 or something. 2007 or 8. I applied to be a Frag Doll. And I was too shy for the phone. I made it to the phone interviews and for those who don't know what a Frag Doll was, Ubisoft used to have an all-girl esports team-ish. But really what they were is they were just a girl team that would help market Ubisoft games at gaming events. So similar in job to a booth babe, but not a booth babe in the fact that they were wearing t-shirt and jeans. They weren't meant to be a booth babe, but they were meant to be like, okay, these are gamer girls that compete at tournaments and they work at the booths, at the Ubisoft booths to teach people how to get through the demos and stuff of the games and to kind of market their games, like be a face for the company in some degree. So yeah, I was too shy. I bombed that. So then like in 2009, I started my other YouTube channel, just youtube.com/MelanieMac, which I've kind of turned that into just where I stream games. Sometimes I haven't streamed there in a bit, but that was my main channel. That's what started everything. So I started that to kind of teach myself how to come out of my shell and not be too shy so that I could do stuff that I wanted to do. And I did that. I ended up getting an internship because in the Frag Dolls at this point, this was like early 2010 is when I got accepted for an internship with the Frag Doll Cadets. That's what they called them. So you got to intern with them whenever they were looking for new full-time Frag Dolls. They would look out of that pool. So I did an internship for the spring class. My first gaming event I ever attended was PAX East because of that. I think it was the first PAX East ever as well. And so I was assigned to the Splinter Cell Conviction booth, and people that were, I would teach people about Splinter Cell Conviction and help them get through the demo and tell them all the good things about the game and all that. So I was stoked because Splinter Cell is one of my favorite franchises ever. At that time, it was in my top 2. So yeah, I did that. Then I ended up working at Razer doing a PR. After that, I didn't get that until like 2011. Then the Frag Dolls ended up recruiting me for a full-time job after that. For like 2012, I did that for about a year as well. And then I went full independent, doing my own stuff. Because at that time, I was getting more views on my own stuff than I was getting on the Frag Dolls channels. The Frag Dolls stuff was kind of losing steam, and eventually the Frag Dolls ended up disbanding. But yeah, they were losing steam, and it was more independent creators that were doing better, and that's what the case was for me. And then also, I kind of was butting heads with some of the leadership there. It wasn't going that well. And so, I mean, I really enjoyed it and I liked it, but I would say I had more fun whenever I was doing the internship. By the time I was actually full-time, they switched leadership. And yeah, I definitely was a bit of a rebel in that situation. Which I did, I'm friendly with them now. But yeah, but it wasn't the best situation. It wasn't the worst either. But anyway, so yeah, there was a bit of a clash there with my own stuff that I was focusing on too. This also happened with another Frag Doll as well, who was focusing on her own stuff too on the side, her own streams and all that, because I started streaming at this time too. And then so me and her both, we were getting more views on our own personal streams than we were on Frag Dolls and stuff. So we had some negative comments and stuff from leadership to us about that. And they didn't like it. But what are you going to do in that situation? You know what I mean? It wasn't like Frag Dolls could have been a career job. There was a contractor job that didn't pay the best. It was still, it was still like, oh, this is fun. This is great. But yeah. And so I am really grateful for that because I got my start and everything. But yeah, at that point, Frag Dolls were really starting to go downhill, and the rise of the independent creator was the thing. So that's what I did. I focused on doing my own thing full time, and I've just continued to do that. Some struggles along the way. Being canceled and stuff, because I used to focus so much on, I was getting hired to host stuff for different companies, Riot Games, Walmart Game Center, Disney Channel, so on and so forth. I made content, but most of my money was made from GameStop TV example. Most of my money was made from being a host, not from my own content. So I just independently was hosting for stuff for years and years. Got to do a bunch of really cool, fun stuff. And then the biggest struggle is once I started getting canceled, then it was like, okay, at that point, I felt like I was like, I have to stand by my morals and my values. And even if that means I lose everything. So I thought I was going to lose everything. I thought I wasn't even going to be able to do content creation at all, because I knew that these companies weren't going to ask me to host for them anymore. Once I started speaking out against stuff, and because I didn't get the jab, because I was against mandates, all that, even that alone made me lose most of my friends, colleagues, all that. And then of course, once I started being more outspoken and about my Christian values, and I've grown in my faith more, and so I've been against a lot of stuff, like the queer stuff, the gay stuff, the tranny stuff, all that. Well, yeah, that was career seppuku. But yeah, now it was in terms of working for mainstream, but that's fine. I'm not gonna lie and say that I don't miss working mainstream at all, because that was fun. We felt like you really got to accomplish a lot of stuff whenever I was traveling the world to host for things. I got to be on TV and all this stuff. It was like, wow, this is huge. I felt like I was really accomplishing a lot of things. So yeah, I do miss that sometimes, but I have no regrets. I know that, especially with how woke everything has gotten and how demonic the demonic woke ideology has infiltrated everything. I knew I didn't belong there anymore, and I had to part from it. So thankfully, I'm still having a lot of fun doing what I do independently, and I'm still getting to do some cool stuff. Like, I was just recently on Louder with Crowder with Gerald. That was fun. Getting to be on podcasts with a bunch of other creators, and then what I'm doing with Quartering right now, all that, being a co-host on his show, that's fun. And it's nice to not have to worry about having a filter and just I mean, I still have to a degree because I get people's channels to monetize if I say a lot of stuff that I normally would, but for the most part, yeah, I don't have to just be a corporate face. I can be me. So anyway, I hope that answers your questions. User VB says, love you. Thank you so much. Love you too. Let's talk about it. Says, okay, I recommend sous vide. I don't know how to pronounce that. Cooking for your steaks. It's a game changer. I learned it from this YouTube channel called Guga. He cooks steaks so many different ways. That's it. That's my question. I've heard about that. I will have to look into it more. Let's see. We got, God bless you, Melanie. Thank you, Mutant. God bless you. Skate Punk says, you are so beautiful. I'm still trying to get over that. Thank you. It's so nice of you. Brandon the Awesome says, dear Melanie, what inspires you to do YouTube? What inspired you to get into the culture war? I want to know because I've been thinking of giving it a go myself. I kind of answered that already. I started for completely different reasons. I started just because I was passionate about gaming and I wanted to get in the gaming industry and stuff. And the culture war, that just happened. That happened because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of how everything was going. So everything that I worked so hard to be a part of got hijacked by all this woke ideology, and enough was enough. And yeah, I feel like at this point in the gaming industry, you kind of have to be, it's either just shut up and pretend and make people think that you're woke, or you got to be in this culture war. And I'm in the culture war. Toby Mac 21 says, one, do you remember when the Ninja Turtles started a band in the early 90s and went on tour? My favorite song was No Treaties. I don't remember that. That's funny. 2, I didn't know what ASMR was, so I did some YouTube search, and that's how I discovered you. Can you explain? That's hilarious. I made a parody video of ASMR just being stupid. I think that's still up on my other channel. If you guys search Melanie Mac ASMR, maybe you'll see it. I did it because I was making a TikTok joke about ASMR. And I just uploaded the entire uncut version that I did because I thought it was hilarious. That is so funny that you found me from that and followed me. 3, it was pointed out to me recently that my accent shifts to a slight southern drawl depending on who I'm with. Do you have a similar superpower? I do. Some people tell me the past couple years that my accent is more southern than it was, which I can't totally tell in my videos and stuff. But I do know whenever I'm around my family, I definitely absolutely talk with more of a southern accent than I do when I'm not talking with my family, because my family are really southern. So yeah, it just depends. I don't really see it in my content. Maybe there's some words here and there. Some people think they do. Now I'm thinking about it. But anyway, my accent's kind of a mix of different things because like my family's from the South, but I mostly grew up in upstate New York, so I have some of those words that sound like that. But yeah, when I'm around my family, I definitely talk more southern than I do when I'm not around them. Justin Lingle says, the only question I can think of right now is, if you were in charge of the Tomb Raider franchise, how would you do it? Would you redo Angel of Darkness and continue where that left off? I would let Aspyr do remasters of, which it seemingly they're already doing, of The Last Revelation Chronicles and Angel of Darkness. Then from there, I would move forward in a similar engine or the same engine even. I would do low budget games. I wouldn't do these massive $100 million plus budget games with these super cinematics. I would just continue the Tomb Raider series in the same engine that the remasters are done in. Let it all be like what with the updated graphics that they used. Let it all be on that grid-based system, tank controls, all of that. I would not continue where Angel of Darkness left off, though. I think Angel of Darkness was a fun detour, but I don't like where it went. So I would say continue where The Last Revelation left off. Have Lara Croft find the Fountain of Youth, which was originally going to be a part of the plan with the old devs. So I'd say let her find the Fountain of Youth so that she stays like late 30s, and let her, or how old was she in 1999? Yeah, she's like 37. So go ahead and keep her around that age. I do like Lara Croft to be mature because, man, I grew up with her being like this mother figure almost. I want to be like her. She was always, yeah. So it is more jarring seeing her super young, but now I'm outgrowing Lara Croft in terms of, but I will always see her as that way. So I don't want her to be too young because of that. I still want to be able to look at her as this mature woman who's got her act together. So yeah, that's what I would do. And then just keep giving her new adventures to go on. Stop making the stories about her personal life and all that. Ziminator says, don't know if you mentioned this already. What was it that brought you to Jesus and become saved? Do you plan to add accessories to the Jeep you and the Cornering talked about? I grew up in a Christian household, so I mean, we went to church every single week. There was no exceptions with that. My dad's a pastor. He wasn't a pastor. Well, he's a retired pastor now, but he wasn't a pastor before he was in the army. But then he became a pastor later. But my dad always, very strong Christian figure for my family. He always made sure we were in church every week. We were always reading our Bibles every single day. So yeah, I grew up very, very staunch Christian household. I was homeschooled. Homeschool Christian, was always involved in homeschool groups and at youth group at church and all that. That was always a huge part of my life. And so then what happened is in my mid-ish 20s, well, mid to late 20s, because it was a slow progression. I started kind of associating more with bunch of people who weren't Christians and stuff, which is fine to a degree, but you gotta watch it, because if you start associating a lot with people outside of the faith, then you can start to be influenced and become like that. So I stopped reading my Bible. I was my very first relationship I was in, I was 25. I was a late bloomer at that. And he wasn't a Christian. So that was a mistake already. And so he tried to get me to not be a Christian anymore and stuff, and was like really trying to push me away from my faith and negatively influencing me. And I stopped reading my Bible. I still was saying I was Christian, but then over the years, the few years after that, I was reading my Bible less, hardly at all. I started trying to accept certain things like, oh, well, I don't like that this is called a sin. I don't think that's bad. And I was just really not sticking to my principles. So then I went, the amount of time though that I went where I absolutely was full rebel mode and saying I'm not a Christian anymore wasn't that long. I want to say it was only, I don't know exactly how long. It wasn't that long, but there was a time where I went full rebel and didn't even want to call myself Christian anymore. But I knew deep down, it's like, I still knew better. I was just trying to go through a rebellious phase. And then I came back to my faith, about 5 years ago-ish. And yeah, I'd say it was a little more than 5 years ago. But anyway, around that time. And then I had to go through being a baby Christian over again. And it was committing myself to daily Bible reading, which I started a couple years or so ago. That really grew my faith more than anything. So Yeah, and do I plan to add accessories to the Jeep? I was looking into it. Different, like, tops and stuff you can get for it and all that. We'll see. Not right now, but maybe in the future. The Kongzilla said, when is your book coming out, lol? This is actually something I've thought about for a long time. I mean, homeschool Christian nerd to LA to hosting gaming stuff all over the world. That is incredible. I mean, you have to be the first person in history to do that, lol. Throw in the cancellation stuff and saying the heck to heck with the losers and sticking to your convictions and beliefs. That's a wild book, lol. Oh, so you're me to write a book about I could. That would require me to be very vulnerable though. I'm not I That's tough. We'll see. I want to make a comic book one day for sure, but in terms of like a book about my life, whew, that would be, I don't know, that'd be hard. Maybe. I will see. Lechi says, what's your favorite cuisine? Mine's Mexican. Meat. Just steak, meat. No, but if I had to pick one, if cheat days and stuff, all of that, I would say Italian, but only if I can pick like Alfredo sauce Italian. Remdog says, seen the Jujutsu Kaisen garlic sauce at McDonald's yet? Saw it advertised on X the other day. Don't let the Jeeptitude get you in trouble, i.e. tickets. I did see that. I think I would keep one as a collectible maybe, but not to actually eat. There's no telling what they put in that. Lilybug says, where did you get your Tomb Raider 2 jacket? I think she means this. I'm making a Lara Croft costume for Halloween and I don't want to be cold. I got this from Hot Topic years ago. They had a Tomb Raider collab. So you could probably find one on like Poshmark, eBay, something like that. Aaron Williams says, what movie/show do you think is the most overrated? Which one is the most underrated? I think like House of Dragons overrated. I think whatever it was before that, I don't know why I can't remember what it's called. That very popular series. So overrated. I don't know. I'm not into watching medieval incest crap. I don't know. Not for me. What's the most underrated? I think anime is most underrated, even though it is growing in popularity a lot. But I think it should have a lot more popularity. I don't know about a singular show. If you want me to talk about American shows, I don't watch hardly any American TV shows. I just watch anime. I'm trying to think if there's one that... Oh, I think Dorohedoro is extremely underrated. Dorohedoro is incredible. It deserves another season. Push-Up says, what do you think it is about human nature that makes the converts and the prodigal children the strongest believers in the faith? That's a good question. I know for me, I think it's just seeing how, okay, this is what, when you actually experience walking away from your faith and seeing, oh wait, I don't like this. You get to see in real time and in action, you get to see why it starts to make more sense why the Bible says what it does. Not that it doesn't make sense to people who've never experienced the worldly things. I think it's awesome those who didn't go through that kind of phase. Thank goodness. I'll be thankful for that if you haven't. But seeing it in real time, it's like, oh, that's why the Bible says this. Okay. And I felt out of place too. Whenever I tried to rebel from my faith and stuff, then I remember going to a birthday party of all things, a birthday party that was in a pool and stuff. Everybody there is getting drunk and dancing all over each other and acting weird. And I was not even, wait, I think I just got back to my faith at that time actually. But still, I was around that kind of stuff. Not a lot, because I never was, even when I was rebelling against my faith, never was interested in that kind of partying type stuff, but I never felt comfortable. I wasn't into drinking and getting drunk, wasn't into promiscuity, any of that stuff. No matter how much I try to be in the mindset of, oh, people can just do what they want, just do you, it never did feel right. It felt icky, and I didn't like being around that. Now, oh, that reminds me, I do remember this group going out and going to some like crazy It's like a concert thing, and not that I'm against concerts, but I don't know. I just felt really out of place in this particular setting. It was a bunch of people drinking and yeah, all that kind of going a little crazy. And I was like, I had to go home. I was like, I don't feel comfortable around this. So that's the thing is the values stay instilled for the most part. So yeah, I think too is once I came back to my faith, I was just so grateful because I realized God never left me and God was protecting me the whole time, even when I was trying to rebel. So it does put me in a position of being like, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful. So yeah. Push Up says, are you going to Matsuri? No current plans for that, but we'll see. We'll see. I wouldn't mind. I think it'd be fun, but it just depends on which one of my friends are going to be there and all that. So we shall see. Nosgoth says, I'm still new to your channel, but from what I could catch up watching is that you have strong Christian beliefs. Like myself, the question is, when people attack your faith, it just proves what the Bible says, that the world will attack you for loving God and standing up for him. I just don't get other weak Christians that have let's get along with the world mindset. I know they're lukewarm. The Bible tells us about this. They'll be spewed from the mouth of Jesus Christ. Instead of having yam bags with the courage and tell these weirdos that no, we are not accepting and doing what you guys think is normal. Exactly. I will speak out against a transgender ideology and people might go, oh, that's so Christian of you not accepting transgender. It's like, are you retarded? Have you read a Bible in your life? But these are people who aren't reading their Bible. And I've been on that point. I've been on that side whenever I first came back to my faith. I was in a baby Christian mode where I was like, oh, I even said this. I wanted to be a Christian on my own terms. Is what I said. So I still wanted to be a Christian, but I still want to accept people. I still wanted to be a friend of the world. But discernment started kicking in. The Holy Spirit was telling me that's not right. And I got there. Daily Bible reading and discernment from the Holy Spirit is really what changed a lot of that. The Joseph Whitehouse says, it's your show, so whatever you feel comfortable talking about is fine with me. Thank you. Push Up says, do you ever fear losing faith again? No, I don't at all. I've seen where that took me, and I'm putting myself in a position where I won't allow something like that to happen. So for example, I refuse to date outside of my faith. I will never be in a relationship with a guy who's not a strong Christian. Even if that means I've got to be single forever, I will be single forever if that is the case. I'm not surrounding myself with people who are trying to pull me away from my faith anymore. Not doing that. And then I'm staying strong. I read the Bible every single day with no exception. So no, I don't. That's not a fear for me at all. I've already seen that rebellious phase was not it. Was not it. Let's see. Elcid says, why does Advil give me heartburn? Do I have ulcers? I don't know. I don't know. You should go to the doctor about that. But that doesn't sound good. It sounds like acidic something. I don't know. In One Bleach Freak says, how many manga and anime do you collect? I do have quite a collection. I have some of what I have on my background. I have this, a bunch of stuff over here, a bunch of box sets, or a few box sets. Yeah. Figurines, things like that. So, yeah. I have my Crunchyroll goodie bag coming in, because like for those Crunchyroll subscribers or whatever, they'll send you a goodie bag every year. Last year I got one for Demon Slayer, and this year I'm getting the Jujutsu Kaisen one. I'm so excited because Jujutsu Kaisen is like my fave, my current day fave. Death Note's my all-time fave, but Jujutsu Kaisen is my second fave of all time. Hopefully that doesn't change, because used to Attack on Titan was that. And Attack on Titan just went to crap. They ruined it. The way they ended it, they ruined it. Yeah, I have a lot of opinions on that. So hopefully I don't see something like that from Jujutsu Kaisen, because season 2 is a 10 out of 10 for me. Doug says, do you have a Needler replica in the background of your videos? So I'm curious, or you have a Needler replica in the background of your videos. So I'm curious, what do you think about the original Halo game? I was more into Halo 3. That's where I got super into Halo. I was in the PMS clan and would play with the girls doing the MLG maps and all that kind of stuff. So that's what really, and then I did campaign and stuff too, but yeah, that's the most I got into Halo was Halo 3. Rebecca says, did you know Planet Fitness deems Weird Al as offensive? Just found out yesterday when I tried requesting one of his songs in their app. Really? That's so funny. Base Fire Ant says, planning on dating? No, I'm not planning on dating. I don't like the dating scene. I mean, if God puts that on my heart to do that, but otherwise, no, I'm hoping that God will just provide and lead me where I need to be to where, assuming it's in his will for me to marry again, because I'm divorced, for those who don't know, for over 4 years now. Well, it would have been finalized in like a month, but over 4 years since that all happened. But yeah, if it's God's will, I just pray that God will lead me and him into the right path and at the right time. Yeah, I don't want to have to install dating apps and date around and date a bunch of strangers, and I really don't want to do that. So I just pray that things will just happen naturally. So obviously in that case, then yeah, I would go on dates, but I don't know. I kind of like the idea of just getting to know somebody and then me being, I don't know, kind of being friends and then realize, I don't know, just something like that. I don't know. It depends. God's plan's the best plan. Whatever that is, I'll do it. Shane says, where are we going on our first date? Well, kidding. I'm not creepy. I'm just crazy. Real question. Why are you such a bundle of sticks? That's funny. And then Angemon says, yes, the only question that has been bugging me out of my mind, the new Doom, the Dark Ages. It looks great. I am really excited for it. FYI, Trump, pew pew happened. Pew pew failed. Trump is okay. Yes, thank God. So anyway, there you have it. I have entered all the questions. The very first members only Q&A. Thank you all so much for being members. It really does help my channel a lot because my live streams get demonetized and it just helps a lot. Plus, like, I don't want to have to be one of those, and not that I have a problem with those kind of channels, but I don't want to be one of those channels where I have to upload like multiple videos every single day and talk about all of this gossip going on and all of this, that, and the other. I like to make, 2-3 videos a week, things that I actually really care a lot about instead of having to look for drama to talk about all the time. And when I do, because used to when I first started this channel, I was making a video every single day or at least 5 days a week and stuff. And so sometimes there were topics that, okay, I need to cover this because this is what's going to get good in the algorithm, or this is latest news, and I need to make at least 5 videos a week. And so there were a lot of topics I wasn't necessarily passionate about. Granted, I still was giving my genuine opinions, but I don't know. I like to get to a point, and where I'm at right now, I like to be able to just, whenever something actually has my interest, I talk about it. Things that I care more about, like lately it's been this Assassin's Creed stuff. I don't want to have to be like this breaking news, let me get all this, and that's not, I don't know, it's not as fun. I mean, so yeah, whenever I do get the viewer support that I do from you guys being members, and then the super chats and stuff, that helps a lot so that I can relax a bit on that and not have to focus on just spamming out stuff. I mean, granted, if I were spamming out stuff, my channel would be a lot bigger. I would make a lot more money, but I'm not super money focused. I'm like, hey, I like to pay my bills and be able to save just in case, I don't know what my future holds. So, that kind of stuff, but I don't, it's It's not a goal of mine to, oh, I have to be a multimillionaire, I have to be a millionaire at all, or any of that. That's not what I push for. So I just want to be able to take care of myself right now, and be comfortable, so I'm not worried about the future. That's my goals. And so anyway, that's one reason why I take the approach that I do. I'm not trying to get burnout on the grind so that I could try to be a millionaire. But anyway, all of your support really helps me a lot, so that I can not overwhelm myself any more than I already am. But anyway, thank you all so much again. I'll see you guys next time. In the meantime, go boom.